Welcome to episode 170 of the Quest Lore series, While Guthix Sleeps. To start this quest you must have completed A Tale of Two Cats, Nature Spirit, Tears of Guthix, Temple of the Eye, Wanted, The Hand in the Sand, Dream Mentor, Fight Arena, The Path of Gluthry, and Defender of Varrock. You talk to Ivy Sophister in Tavali. She asks if you got the Armadil communique, and seeing that you did, she tells you to talk with Therisk upstairs. He leads a group of Guthixians called the Crux Ikal, whose objective is to bring balance to the world in order to protect it. This sometimes means using violence if it prevents a greater violence. This group has been keeping their eye on the Maserat for some time and consider them a threat to the world. They didn't think that Lucian was that dangerous until he obtained the Staff of Armadil. Suddenly a melee and a ranged assassin appear, who do a special attack of firing a poison arrow followed by a sneaky melee attack. You deal with them, and Therisk says that it's the first time that the assassins have ever made an attempt in Tavali, so Lucian must consider the both of you to be a massive threat at the moment. The Cruxikal have already formed an alliance with the Guardians of Armadil, and they're reaching out to the Temple Knights also. It's an unexpected scene for the followers of different gods to unite in this way, but their differences mean little when compared to the threat that the Maserat pose. Whilst Lucian is difficult to locate, he's been expanding his resources at a rapid rate, and you can take advantage of this. He's been working with many people, including the treasure hunter Mavario, who now has a Khazad army bodyguard named Darv, and you might be able to find his whereabouts by starting at the fight arena. Mavario has been doing research in all the libraries around the world, focusing on the God Wars, but mostly on Saradomin and Guthix in particular. So to recap, whilst Lucian normally operates alone, after acquiring the Staff of Armadil, he's been forming many alliances and is planning something big. You talk to the Khazad launderer who cleans clothes and ask him if he knows anyone called Darv or Mavario. You pay him 500 coins to gossip, and he says that Mavario is a frequent customer of his. He also mentions that there's this creature called a Brorf that might be able to help you find him through the scent on his clothes, so he gives you one of Mavario's dirty shirts, and you go to the Feldip Hills. The hunting expert teaches you how to catch one with a pitfall trap and a Mortmire fungus as bait. Then you go to the Khazad battlefield, let the Brorf sniff the shirt, and it finds a trapdoor to a base. In a chest you find some runes and then find an old battered door with the word prohibited on it. One of the letters of this word is drawn with the symbols of a rune which is placed in the door to unlock it. In the first room of Mavario's secret base, you search bookcases and find levers which you pull until the electric current is directed and the gate is deactivated. You also search for traps on the staircase before climbing it. Upstairs on the desk you find Mavario's notes, which log his investigation into the Eye of Saradomin, aka the Fist of Guthix, aka the Stone of Jas. In the waste paper basket you find a ruby key and insert it into the keyhole in the bookcase, which raises some stairs to Mavario's bedroom. You search the bed and find a chest under it, which is also unlocked with the ruby key, but make sure to search for traps first. You find some more notes written by him. He notes that Lucian is taking an interest in his research, but despite gaining the power of the Staff of Armadil, he doesn't seem satisfied and claims that this is only the beginning. He learnt a demonic spell that raises creatures from the dead, and at the Wizard's Tower they discovered the rift of the Eye of Saradomin. Lucian wants to touch it to become more powerful. Back in the middle floor, you inspect the painting and find a lever which you pull. You search the drawers and find some notes on pressure. You then add some weight onto the statue according to how much you weighed when you first entered the base, and then leave with the notes. Therisk says that the new alliance have decided to hold their meetings in the White Knight's castle in Falador. He would like you to tell Idria near McGrubber's Woods about the updated location. You appear just as Lucian's mercenaries attack the Guardians of Armadil, and after you help deal with them, they'll meet you at the White Knight's castle. You're introduced to Arcasay, and Idria thinks that Lucian might be raising an undead army in the wilderness. To find his whereabouts, Therisk has developed a truth serum. You're given a teleorb that's directly linked to the jail cell here, so you've got to plant this on one of Lucian's spies. For now, all you know is that the spy should be in Draenor Manor or Draenor Village, so you find the shady stranger and plant the teleorb on him to trap him in the cell. But he doesn't drink the truth serum and instead destroys it. To make another potion, you'll need an enriched snapdragon, and Betty can help you with that. You get some pink dye from her and place the snapdragon seed on the table. You use the pink dye to make a rose-tinted lens and stand in the doorway to shine the pink light onto the snapdragon seed to enrich it. Therisk says there's a herb patch on top of the castle. Whilst the seed grows, you talk to Idria. Seeing that Lucian's forces will be sizable, you'll need to recruit talented individuals. She wants you to contact 3 of the Slayer Masters and Syrisus from the Dream Mentor quest, although he's always on the move, so you'll need to use the NPC contact spell. You explain the alliance to the Slayer Master Toriel, and although he's retired, he's happy to do one last job. You also speak to Mashchna, who's been waiting for many centuries to fight the Mazrat again. Sirius says he's happy to help, and Duradel seems to have some sort of vendetta against Lucian. The enriched Snapdragon has grown. Therisk makes another Super Truth Serum, and in the drawers in the corner you find a papyrus and a charcoal. You enter the cell where the shady stranger is and threaten him, so he drinks the Truth Serum. He says that he never met Lucian, he only took his orders from the Dark Squall. He describes the Squall to you, and you sketch him. That's all the prisoner knows. You show the sketch to Idria, she'll send copies throughout the spy network. In the meantime, she asks you to recruit Gommel, Haralak Menarus, and Sloane from the Warriors Guild. Gommel says he'll take any chance to put down evil. Haralak is also honoured to help, and Sloane's family lives under the code of not letting any evil flourish. He and his axe will help you. Hazelmere appears. He also wants to help stop the threat. Now you have to infiltrate the Black Knight's fortress and keep an eye out for Silith in case he needs support. With a bronze med helm and an iron chain body, you make it into the fortress. Downstairs, at the tile with a marking of an orb, you cast the Charge Orb spell on it and unlock the trapdoor. After running across the bridge, you kill 3 elite Black Knights to get a full set of elite black armor. Equipping this makes the rest of the knights unaggressive towards you. Going through the western door, you find a shortcut to the beginning of the dungeon that you can use anytime in the future, and through the northern door you find a hideout. Searching the wardrobe, you find some more elite black armor. At a table, you find a lobster with a restore potion. On another table, you find a lore rune, a death rune, and a strange teller orb. And next to the northern wall, you find a key rack that you take a key from. You then go to the prison cells and find Silith. You heal him with the food and restore potion. His mission here isn't complete yet. He needs to find the Dark Squall and gather any intelligence available. You give him some of the extra armor, which allows him to safely leave the prison cell. Silith will study the maps on the southern wall while you deal with the Dark Squall. He suggests that you plant a teller orb on him. In the southern wardrobe you find the Dark Squall robes and are able to go up the ladder. It turns out that the head wizard of the bad guys was Surok Magis this whole time. He fights you. When he casts an earth blast, you counter with air, and if he does fire, you counter with water and vice versa. When he launches an explosive, you have to use telegrab on it and high out kit. When he calls in a strong or agile warrior and they approach you, you have to cast either weaken or any binding spell on them accordingly. After you defeat Surok Magis, you plant the orb on him. Silith has already reported back on your good work. He also was able to gather a lot of important intelligence. It seems that Lucian has allied with most of the Zamorakian organizations. You say that you planted a teller orb on Surok, and Therisk believes that we can make a move on Lucian now. His secret base is on the western edge of the wilderness. When you're ready, Idria casts a spell that switches you and Surok's positions, so now he's in the cell and you're in the headquarters again. Standing in the magic circle, you use the strange teller orb that you found on the table earlier, and this teleports you to the secret base just west of the wilderness. You climb to get on top of the Chaos Temple, and now have sight of Lucian, who summons an army of skeletons clad in rune armor. He recognizes you through the disguise and attacks. From the sidelines, the Alliance appears. Hazelmere observes you through a telescope, then Lucian quickly disposes of Duradel and Sloane. Hazelmere's crystal attack did something, but not enough, and his seed pod burst. It seems that his time has come. Lucian then quickly disposes of Sirius, Gommel, Toriel, and Hazelmere. Mashchna says that we must find where Lucian went, for Toriel and Duradel must be avenged. Haralak is going back to Falador, as your current weapons seem to be doing no damage to Lucian. He's become too powerful. It's more imperative than ever that he does not reach the Stone of Jas, but a little bit of good news is that Akrase's informant saw Mavario entering the caves below Lumbridge Swamp with floating lights. This is where the Tears of Guthix are. You suggest that you disguise yourself as a Dark Squall again. As this is the only plan you've currently got, they say you should do it. Mavario believes that the Stone of Jas is down the chasm. Your Sapphire Lantern needs to be enhanced, so he casts a light spell on it, and you descend. You search some skeletons, finding a hammer, a chisel, and a spade. With these you remove the water orb from one of the braziers, and the air orb from another. Nearby you find some rocks, which you can search using the spade. Within the crushed brazier you find an earth orb, and in the last rocks you get the red orb. In front of the 3 cavities, you see some chiseled blocks. You use the corresponding orb to match the element. When you've got the 4 elemental blocks, you crawl into the caves and place the blocks into the corresponding mechanisms. Lastly, you climb up and use a fire block in the middle, then inspect the stone cube. This opens up the skull, which you then climb into. Inside the next section, you find a skeleton with a sickle and a druid pouch. You can also restore your run energy and get a stamina effect by inspecting the brazier. you see a stone table with symmetrical glyphs on it. You can use the druid pouches on the spirits and get some herb lore ingredients that are going to be used on the corresponding statues. You can also cast a bloom with your sickle while standing on the vines to get vine flowers and add more charges to your pouch. For the defense statue, you use a Ranarr and white berries and obtain the defense dolmen, which is a small statue which you place onto the central stone table. For hunter, you use an Avantoe and ground kebbit tooth. For ranging, you use a dwarf weed and wine of Zamorak. For combat, you use a Haralander and goat horn dust. For strength, you use a Taramin and limpwort. For energy, you use a Haralander and a chocolate dust. For balance, you use a garlic, some silver dust, a Haralander and some red spider eggs. And for attack, you use a guam leaf and an eye of newt. Now that you've got 8 dolmens placed onto the central table, it unlocks the final section, opening the giant door that descends into the ground. You now walk through the gate to get to the final area. A balanced elemental that's protecting the stone and knows your whole past, present and future appears before you. He attacks with all 3 styles. If he's orange, you should protect and attack with ranged. If he's blue, you should protect and attack with mage. And if he's white, you should protect and attack with melee. After you defeat the balanced elemental, you can touch the Stone of Jas. V from the Fremenix was the first one to find it deep below the ice of Lunar Isle. Throughout time, some would use it for good, others would use it for destruction. The Dragonkin were bound to it long ago. It caused them unimaginable pain, but also granted them immense power. The only way to win is with the stone. Mavario catches up. He spent his whole life looking for this, so he won't let you stop him now. You explain that if Lucian gets the stone, the world would burn, but Mavario is convinced that he would be the one with power and not Lucian. You say you won't let him get the stone, so he says that he'll have to deal with you. But Lucian appears. He claims it's finally time for the Majorat to take their rightful place as the sole inheritors of Gielinor, with Lucian as their god. Anyone who stands in his way will be swept away. He commends your efforts to try and stop him, but he says that death always awaits. Now with the staff and the Stone of Jas, no one can stop him, not even if Zamorak reappeared. You now enter a fight with 2 tormented demons and you have super buffed stats. If they do a slash attack, you must protect from melee. If they do a cone-shaped attack, you must protect range. And if they do a fireball attack, you must protect mage. Alternatively, you can let the Guardians of Armadyl chip away at them and then you can deal the final blow at the end. Once you have defeated all the demons, you return to the White Knight's castle and explain what happened. Lucian has the stone, but this doesn't mean that you're all going to give up. The alliance between the Temple Knights, the Cruxical and the Guardians of Armadyl is strong, and they'll continue fighting for the common good and will try to strengthen their forces. When Lucian dares to rear his head again, they'll be ready. But for now, you can rest until the time is right, and you'll be the first to know. Lucian will be defeated, and the world will be safe once more. Meanwhile, deep within the Dragonkin lair, some of the Dragonkin that were in hibernation are now awakened. Sifaf, Sakurf, and Strisaf sense that the stone has been uncovered, so they're planning to bring pain and destruction once again. The Dragonkin will rise once more. Quest complete. You get 5 quest points, 80,000 thieving XP, 75,000 farming and herb lore XP, 50,000 hunter XP, and access to the Guthixian temple. With all the quests complete, you go to Draenor village and talk to the wise old man. For 99,000 coins you get the quest cape and hood, thus completing the old school RuneScape quest lore series. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. This was a project that took 1,200 hours on my account, plus all the time writing and reading the scripts, editing the videos and the thumbnails. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. These videos are dedicated to everyone who wanted a quick, short way of learning what actually happens during the quests in old school RuneScape. It's been a great journey for me and I hope you had fun too. Soon I'll upload a mega cut with every single episode in one video all together. I hope you enjoy.